Hola a todos, bendita comida joyera. Hello everybody. Bonjour à tous, brillante communauté bijoutière, brilliant jewelry community. Welcome to this live stream. Okay, so what do I want to do today? Okay, so obviously many things are changing all over the world. We're going to keep doing the famous, it's famous because it's quite unique. Remember I was doing the Miyuki beads bracelet, and I said that we need to, well, we need to finish it because obviously there are some very important things that we haven't done. Like, by example, how are we going to... ¿Cómo vamos a poner los colores a todas esas miles de cuentas? How are we going to put the colors to all these thousands of beads? And also I was... Let me see something. Why this file doesn't have the... Because remember I finished... Let me check the directory. It's this one. Live. Okay, that's why. This is this file. It was a bit out. Okay. We were here because I made this magnificent jewelry finding of gold and brass for the bracelet. So we have that, but we need to make the knots here. We need to tie this. So we're going to work on that, but also the very important thing is how are we going to give all the colors, because let's see a reference. This is a reference example of a Miyuki bracelet. Okay, as you can see the stitching here on the sides, that's why I made the stitching here. I made it a bit differently this time. This is maybe not realistic in my 3D version of the bracelet, but it's prettier. So, and this kind of bracelet, obviously you don't manufacture using 3D because the beads are glass beads that you need to stitch together. What we are manufacturing by 3D printing is this this part of the bracelet, because this I'm going to print and cast that in brass. Okay, so now the question is, I need to make a mirror of this. So let's go to mirror. So we're going to go really step by step with we still need to do... One of my cats already here. Hello. They want to be live with me. Come on, kitty, kitty. She's called Ayoka. She's a little fur ball. Very cute, obviously. Okay, so like I said, step by step, because this is live, and well, like you know, my everyday life is changing a lot. My general job has changed much, like many people. So we all need to adapt. And here we need a mirror here. So what are we going to do now? Okay, mirror based on this, and we have now, okay, perfect, on the other side. So the distance is pretty much okay, but it's okay. Yeah, that's perfect. We obviously also need this, but this one already has a mirror, but we need to change that to this. It should work to bring that to the other side. Is it Y? No, it's X then. Is it? Ah, no, X, Y, and Z. Okay, perfect. So now I have the finding on each side. All right. And so today I'm going to use Blender now. We're going to finish this bracelet. Okay, so we need to make a knot on this side. This is still a curve, Okay, so we can go to edit mode, and let's see if the position is all right. Yeah. So now from the front view, let's zoom to the point. Let's start making a 3D knot. So it must go. Okay, first we need to come here and down here, and so we need to check the handles, and here we go. And that's why I made all these holes in that ending, that metal ending, because we are going to make the knots. It's just a detail, but it's quite important because it's one of the most visible parts. Okay, so we are here, and we are going to go a bit to the side. The only thing is that this point, no, okay, it's this point that I can't move, so that's all right. So you know that during the live sessions, it's a lot of improvisation. So I never pretend that I'm doing things in the most efficient way. I don't, you know, that's not my main goal. But we are doing very interesting things, and this is a very special request that a follower made a couple of weeks ago. He was happy with the first part. This is the second part of this project, and no, sorry, I'm just making the 3D knot to finish, to properly finish that side of the ending. And I need to make, so if you don't know how to make knots in real life, it's a bit hard to make a knot in 3D. Obviously, you should always, hi, welcome to the show, the jewelry show. This should be called the jewelry show now. All right, okay, so I need to go down here and inside there, and this will be a proper 3D knot. And yeah, now, like I said last time, I'm recording the live sessions so I can publish them like proper tutorials, because I'm in fact doing this as a tutorial. Just the pace is very different, but a lot of people, and also I think it's working. It's really working, because I'm making the tutorial and I'm explaining many things. Sometimes it's not that much related. You know what? We're going to go this side. Let's make a full, complete knot that would really withstand. Here, this is a real 3D knot. And as you can see, because this curve is repeating, is it repeating? Yeah, the array was repeating there. Okay, I just need to change now the distance there has changed a lot. Let's go at maybe 105. But because this is just an array of the same curve, this is why I built the entire. Okay, thanks. Yes, it's working pretty. This design is really interesting to do with Blender or in 3D in general. Doesn't matter if you use Blender or not. Generally, the projects I do, you can do with maybe any software. So we just, yeah, really want to complete this design because we still have to bend the bracelet to really make the bracelet and make the clasps and the small loops that we need to really wear the bracelet. And I want to make the materials and the render of this bracelet. And we'll see if today I should be able to finish it today. We'll see. Depends on many things. But so far, this has been working really well. so do I have, okay, this is here. Okay, so this is just to make a 3D knot to really close the bracelet. And it's all based on the curve that it's repeating across the entire bracelet. Okay, so now this is starting to look like a proper knot. And that's why it's important. Let's go to diagonal, which is to isolate. When you want to isolate the object, don't forget the diagonal key from the numpad. It's always very important to do this, so you can visualize a bit better. So obviously, if this is going to be an ending knot, it must be tight. So I must really achieve this knot in a way that it closes on itself. Okay. All right. This is pretty good. And also it should not overlap over itself. That's why it's not that easy to make a custom one of a kind, because also I don't want to make I can't use just any generic knot. It must fit exactly my design, and the shape should be harmonious, which is we're almost there. I don't want to take too much time on this, but as always, we're going to take the time that's necessary. Okay, looks does it look tight enough? It should look tight enough. Maybe there that part is not tight enough. Okay, let's make it tighter. Tighter here and there. This is not very tight, honestly. That side is still a bit too loose. All right, and what else? What's new? Well, what's new? I've been asked. Okay, so the big question that I get every week is if I'm selling a jewelry course for Blender and jewelry render and jewelry modeling. So the answer, to make it like really public, is that yes, but it's not ready yet. So technically I should stop doing, well, I should start doing the recording of my jewelry modeling course and stop doing live streams on YouTube then. But somehow, depending on my workload, I don't have the time yet to record the full jewelry course for Blender. It's going to come out. It must come out this year because it's part. Obviously, it's going to be on sale. The price won't be low. Sorry. Well, I mean low. Won't be too high either. But because it's a professional course and it's one of a kind, it's obviously going to be. Well, I won't make it too expensive, obviously, because it should be a bestseller. Okay, so the knot, tight knot, 3D knot. Oh, this is pretty good. This is okay. Okay, we're good here. Okay, so these are the knots on that side, and on the other side, I also need the same knot. So what we're going to do, we can copy the vertices because it's the same curve and it's a curve. So let's go to transparent mode. Let's do a B, select all this. So I have all these vertices on this specific side. Let's make a Shift DX and let's copy, let's move it to the other side, and we'll have to rotate. We're going to have to rotate this and connect it. Okay, so it should work. Let's rotate. But you know what? Let's check that we are working with the median point. Sometimes, generally, you have it on median point. Okay, that's the median point. 180 degrees. Ayoka, come on, baby. She wants to come with me because when I speak a lot, it's funny because one of my cats wants to be with me when I speak a lot. She loves my voice, so she wants to be on my lap, by example. All right, so this is the 3D knot on the other side. It should fit almost as well. And now I need to find the vertices. Where are the vertices? I know I won't stop the channel. Well, okay, let's talk about when did I start making this channel and why, and also why I'm going through what problems I'm going through with the channel so people can understand. Because, okay, so we have this vertex and that vertex, F, and this is perfect. Is it perfect? Well, I still need to put this knot into position, but it's pretty good. So transparency. Now I need to find, let's move it. Should be here. Is it? Okay, it must go higher. Well, I need to adapt to this side, not to this side. The distances are not exactly the same. So this should go a bit further away. This too, because the plastic, the nylon, can't overlap with itself, or should not. This gotta go kind of here. Is it going to fit? Who's that? Okay, the other. Okay, that nylon is from the stitching all around. We'll have to work on that, but as a mesh, I think we'll make a 3D version of the knot as a mesh. Now it's a curve, and I'm adapting the knot. And I want to do this on the right side. I already made the knot on the left side. Okay, so I started making videos years ago. When I was still owning and running my jewelry school here in Mexico City. And when I started working with the software Tridesign, which is a very famous French software, one of the most powerful jewelry software, it's called Tridesign. It's from Gravotech. It's a huge engraving business. It's a French enterprise company. It's a French company. So they bought the Tridesign software, which is called Tridesign. It's a software. It's not the activity of Tridesigning. Tridesign is a software. It's a jewelry software. It's a French software. It competes against mostly Matrix because they are in the same price range. They are expensive software, but they're very powerful software. They are all they have very dedicated tool, more than Blender, more than the Jewelcraft add-on. But they're very expensive, but they're very powerful. Businesses like Cartier, Swarovski, Pandora, if you know, many of the major brands do use Tridesign instead of Matrix, by example. I really prefer the interface of Tridesign is amazing. So I started working with them as a jewelry school here in Mexico, and I'm the official professional trainer instructor here in Mexico for Tridesign, and I also sell the software, and I give technical advice and demonstrations and technical support also for the software in Mexico. So I started because obviously I was well, basically I still am one of the most important instructors in Mexico for all the jewelry field. Anyway, so I started working with them, and that's when I started making tutorials for that software, because it was new for me working with that software, not making 3D. Making 3D for me wasn't something new, but working with Tridesign for the jewelry industry, jewelry design, jewelry business was became a lot funnier, because Tridesign, the interface is really pretty and it's super efficient. So it was a dream come true. Okay, that knot is good enough. Okay, we're done on that side. So we have the knots. Now I need to adapt the distance of the array for the knots. Let's find 3, 3, 5, maybe 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 8, 5. No, sorry, 3, 5, 8, 5. Don't forget the 3. Okay, we're pretty good. We're pretty good, but there's something weird with this side. I need to go further. Let me check this. This guy should not be that long. So obviously I need to readapt every time the array was like 1, 5, 1, 6. Okay. And but it's gotta be okay. It's well, adapt the array when the entire knot is ready, right? I need to check this side. Okay, make it tighter on this side, make it tighter on this side. Okay, and that's when I started making tutorials. And well, obviously the channel was not a boom like that at the beginning. Now it's growing steadily, and people are very happy with my channel, and I'm very happy too. And it's really growing, and it's trending also, starting to trend more because well, basically it's me, and it's just me making this. There are other people trying to do this, but it's like hard to compare with the experience I have in the jewelry design field. I've been designing for 20 years and making jewelry. I've manufactured thousands and thousands of jewels for me, for my brand, because I have my own jewelry brand here in Mexico. It's all custom jewelry. And with my students also, I manufacture thousands of jewels. So in designing any kind of jewels, even this kind of jewels we used to manufacture and teach also. So that's when I started, and that was like around 2011. Okay, so I started with the channel like seriously in 2012. No, that would be crazy. Maybe later. Let's say 2014. Okay, so that's already 7 years. That's no, but that's crazy. But yeah, I think it's that has been that long. Okay, so that's why I have hundreds of videos using 3Design version 8. Now it's version 10. And then I started using Blender in 2018. Maybe 17, yeah, around there. 16 maybe. Should be already 5 years ago that I restarted using Blender for teaching and jewelry design. Okay, so, and now what's happening? What's the difference? Well, then I started making tutorials for jewelry design using Blender, and that's and we're still here and still doing that. But now there's a huge change. The jewelry school does not exist anymore because of the pandemic, and also because it was time to retire from that activity. Really was time, and so it came with the pandemic. And well, my time, my availability is not the same than before, and not at all, because I used to make the tutorials after teaching, after I don't know, after I used to go to the gym, by example, to train like for 1 hour or 2 hours, and then I used to come back because I was at the school. It was my own business, my own workshop, my own art studio, my everything, let's say. So I would come back there after anything, going to the restaurant, going to the movies, going out, seeing friends and whatever. Then I would go back to school. So to make something interesting and make something productive when I wasn't manufacturing jewels or designing something else, I started making tutorials in between lessons, my teaching hours. And it was, because for me it was like breathing. Making the tutorial was like a breath of fresh air. And And that was already years ago. And it started being part of my life, and I would do a tutorial a week easily. Then I started with 2 or 3 and things like that. Okay, the 3D knot is ready on each side. Looks pretty nice. There's something that's not very logical. It's why. Ah, yeah, I know. Okay, this. Okay, I'm just going to change that small ending because this must be shorter. It must be shorter here on the inside. What a 3D knot! It looks tight enough. That's actually exactly how I would do a knot with nylon, because I'm very bad with these kind of. That's not the kind of jewels I make. I work gold and silver, and brass and copper. So when I need to make a knot using nylon, by example, they always come out messy like this one, like really messy. And okay, but this is pretty good. All right, we have this now. The distance 17, 185, 18. Okay, so we have knots on this side. They're complete, and knots on the other side. Let's have a look on the other side too. Again, double check what you're doing. Okay, and we're pretty good with the knots. Okay, this is nice. So now let me just check what type of object this is. Okay, this is already a mesh. Let's have a look at how many. Let's go to decimate, because we need to check. Okay, we have 1 million faces on this mesh for the beads. This is good. It's a bit high, but it's okay. So now we need to make a curve for the bracelets. So let's have a look at. Okay, a bracelet for, well, the wrist, bracelet for the wrist, yeah, wrist. So the wrist, generally the wrist at this height, my wrist is thinner than, I have small bones. I have very thin bones, so I don't have fat, big wrists. I have small wrists. So my wrist, the measurement of my wrist is 23. And if you don't have nothing to take the measurement of your wrist, like take a piece of paper and simply do this. Okay, you can see that. So here I have, now I can take the measurement. I have a, so how much is it there? 20, yeah, it should be 20 some. Mine is 21, all right? So use a piece of paper, any type of object that you can flex around your wrist, and I have a ruler right there. So my wrist is 21 centimeter. It's pretty small for men. Men generally is 25 or more. But I like my bones. I like my wrist. It's a bit finer. Okay. So now 21 centimeters. You must divide that by pi. So let's go to the calculator. Well, obviously you can do that in Blender, but let's do that outside of Blender. So 21 is the perimeter. So you need to divide that between 3.1416, which is pi. So this is the inside diameter of my wrist approximated to a circle. So now I can use that inside Blender, and let's add mesh circle, and let's put 120 vertices, and the radius, it's going to be 6.685 divided by 2. And no, sorry, this is centimeters. So multiply this by 10 because my scale in Blender is 10 times bigger. So here we have 66.8, which is what we had there for the inside diameter of my wrist. So now we're making this in 3D. So this is the number for a 21 centimeter around my wrist. All right. Okay, so we have this, and let's center this. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit more oval. So let's make an SX. This is arbitrary. The wrist is not exactly round, but you can make it round. You can make it oval. I'm going to make it oval. It looks a bit better. Okay. So now, what do we need now? We need a couple of, well, here I have a mesh for the beads. This is a mesh with the mirror and subdivisions. These are curves with arrays and all of that. I'm going to make a copy of this and convert it to mesh. So I'm going to make a copy of everything and convert it to mesh, because also some of the nylons they need, well, first they need a bit of corrections. So I'm going to make those corrections before I bend. So next step is bending the bracelet in Blender. It's not that hard, but you know that sometimes we have problems with orientations, right? And okay, so this is the stitching sides. This is the wire. This is the horizontal wires, or we put nice names to your object. Horizontal wires. There you go. Now I'm going to copy that one and that one, Shift D, Enter, and I'm going to make an Alt C. So now these are the meshes. So I can hide the original ones, which I'm going to keep. And actually, let's save this. Save this as live tutorial part 2. Okay, it is part 2 today. Don't forget that it's part 2. So now this is a mesh, because by example, the last row there. Okay, first let's have a lot more clipping. Let's go at 25,000 because I need to be able to zoom out more. Okay, what's the detail? The detail is that this lasts. Oh, you know what? Wait, mistake. Let's go back because I moved the distance. Okay, for this guy. Now for that guy. This was 93 and needs to be 93. All right. So these guys, let's make a copy, Shift D, Enter. When everything is good, Alt C to make it mesh. Hide the originals, which are the curves, the Bezier curves. So don't forget, this is always, I say this in every tutorial. This is a very simple way to keep a copy, a non-destructive copy of the original before making it into a mesh. All right. So now, as you can see, this wire here, woo, I went to edit mode. It's going to be a bit slow suddenly, but no, I just want the stitching size. Okay, here we go. This is the part I need to correct because this is this side. So from this side, what do I need from this side? I just need it through here. Okay, so I'm going to make it like this with the C key and Shift. I'm going to deselect what I don't want to remove it. I'm going to keep it here. All right, now delete vertices. I just want this side and close it inside the knot if possible. Maybe it's not possible because I maybe won't have. Okay, let's make an F. Okay, did not close because I need those vertices. You need a full. Okay, let's work this more closely. I need a clean cut of an ending circle. Transparency Alt A, sorry. Whee! Let's select all the vertices that are not making the clean cut. Whoop! I got this. Delete vertices. Now I can select the ending loop. Well, you can select it in many ways. You can select with the control key all around here and coming back there. Okay, F. Now I can close it. So the nice part is I'm just cutting the nylons that are closing the bracelet on this side. And this should end, well, it's not too bad where it ends, honestly. Let's go with a proportional editing. Let's turn it on here. And let's move with G key. Okay, G. And because I have the proportional editing turned on, the rest of the wire is moving with me. So G to grab and adjust that. So this makes that this range there, this ending range, is finishing inside the ending knot, which is pretty correct. Obviously, if you get a very close look, you're going to see that this wire is just coming through there, and it's not really, well, let's see if I can move it there so I can avoid the overlap with the brass. And now let's this is pretty good. It gives the illusion well enough that it's ending and it's stitched to the rest of the knot there. Maybe, well, I can overlap a bit. It's going to be the nylon is semi-transparent, so okay, we're pretty good here. Now on the other side, I have something similar to correct. Here, this is going too far. I don't need it that far. So let's do a very similar process. Let's go there by example, delete the vertices because that would be too messy. I'm just making this. Okay, do this, then the dot key to zoom in. All right, now again I'm going to make a clean cut here. Alt A, B, select those vertices, goodbye. Now with the B, I'm gonna take this one, F. All right, so we are closed because we're making closed meshes, and this gives the look that it's closing inside pretty well. It's a bit messier than the other side, honestly. Let's see if I can edit just this knot. I'm going to take this line and move it to the left. It has the proportional editing turned on, so it's going to move the rest a bit. But this is great. Sorry, I need to go, wait a second. I need to go to the left more on this side. This is pretty good. Top view for a second. This can vary like that. It's not too bad. Alt A. I'm going to move this a bit back. Okay, and this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. Okay, so now we can do something about just a touch of realism. The wires generally, well, if you want, we can displace them. You can displace them if you don't want perfectly straight wires, but it's not necessary. So I made the ending knots now. The metal ending is ready. And I need to make a copy of all the beads. Shift D, enter, because I'm going to reset, and I'm going to make a new collection. I'm going to call it bracelets. Well, there's already a bracelet, but let's call this collection bending bracelet, which is the actual goal. Everything I'm doing now is preparing the bracelet to bend. Okay, so these are the beads. This is the copy. We're going to move them here. Now the wires, this is the mesh copy. Let's move it here. And I need the clasps. So the clasp are 2 objects yet. So make a Shift D, enter, Alt C. I'm applying all the modifiers. We're going to move that to the bending bracelet there. Plane and all of that, make a Control J. And also I need to be ready to avoid problems with, okay, so the clasp, I'm going to hide entirely the clasp, those wires, that bracelet there. These collections are entirely hidden now. And we are going to see if the materials are ready. Okay, so this friend here, the bead class. Let's go to UV editing. So now it's going to be the other important step. So step 1 is going to be to bend the bracelet, but then also you need to find a way to make all the colors for the beads, because the beads, they're gonna have a pattern, well, any pattern that you want. Let's say this, and the question is that we need a material to make these colors. And well, I have my own trick. We'll see that trick later. Okay, so let's take all the beads A, and let's make a UV projection from view bounce. Let's make that from the top view. You need to see all really all the beads. So again, if you're not sure, from top view, UV from project from bounds. So all the beads, these are all the beads, all right? So the distances between the beads are even. And this should be okay for this material. Okay, but now we're going to bend the, so I need to find where's the, okay, this is the shape, the wrist shape, bending. We're going to bend to that oval shape. I already showed how to take the measurement of your of your wrist. All right, so we're here. So now we need to see this. Just want to check that everybody has its proper material. Yes, yes, yes. Now this we need to make an alt. Wait a second. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is a new collection for the bracelets that we're going to bend now. So we're going to take the beads, the wires, the endings, make a Control J. And now we have the complete bracelet mesh. I'm not totally sure it's going to work with the entire mesh. It should, which the important element here is the Control A. Well, sorry. You need to center the origin of your object here. Let's go to 0 on Y, Now let's do something. Let's go to edit mode. So here we have some million faces, but it's not going to be too slow. I need to select the ending. Let's take this vertex. Select this vertex, which is the most left one, and make a Shift S cursor to select it. All right, let's go out of edit mode and make an object set origin to 3D cursor. This will allow me to fully center. It was almost already centered, but let's go at 0, 0, 0, and now the bracelet is totally centered. Generally, that helps a lot when deforming things in Blender with the modifier Simple Deform. So I don't want to twist that. It would be kind of fun. But we're not here to twist the bracelet today and now and today, right? So let's go to bend. No, sorry. Well, you could use the bend modifier, but no, I'm silly. Obviously, it's not that. I don't know why I went there. We need the curve modifier. I made a curve. Curve modifier. The curve object is our very pretty oval here for the wrist. And come on. Don't tell me. Okay, let's see from the list. Yeah. Stitching. Why is that? But who? I'm sorry, this object became inadvertently. When did this one became a? So whatever, let's do it again. Mesh. This one became a mesh. I had it selected when I didn't want wanted that, whatever. Bien, entonces this is the pleasure of making things live. Wrist shape, whatever. This is my circle. But it was never. I need to add a curve Bezier circle. Thank you. So the size is 66.8 SX. Okay, now it's a curve. I don't know. I added a mesh from the beginning. Sorry, people. You need to put more attention, people. Somebody must be focusing more. It might be me. All right, but I'm not tired, so having fun. All right, that's a curve now. So curve object, please, that's the curve object. Okay, well, the bending is going pretty well. Just the direction is not the direction we want. Let's have a look at Control A scale on my base curve. Wow, this is crazy now. Well, let's don't do that. Anyway, the orientation. So the orientation of the bracelet, it should be on X, go at 90 degrees. All right, okay. So now we are bending the bracelets. And we can make it smaller. Now I'm going to adapt. So in fact, it's not that long. And I'm going to adapt. I want the endings to be closer. There's not that much deformation in this design because the origins were properly set. I showed very exactly how to do that. Okay, so scale, I'm going to go at 0.8, I guess. I do want some distance between the endings there. Let's see, 0.8. I want like 1 or 2 centimeters now. This is pretty good, but a bit less. So 775, something like that. And so this is the first important step that I wanted to do today, which is bending the bracelet with all these thousands of glass beads. Remember, we have more than 1,000 beads. But then the other important element of today's tutorial, live stream, video. Okay, is that, no, I want less. I want 7.3. I want less distance between the endings. We are going to make the loops and a T-clasp to make it realistic. Okay, so is that, yeah, that distance is pretty nice. Maybe a bit less. Let's go at 0.75 and we're going to call it good. Let's call it good. You must be confident with what you're doing. Okay, so welcome people to the live stream. Welcome to the jewelry show. My name is Damien, the jewelry artist. Who put, I said 0.75, enter. So there are some million faces. That's why it's not blitz fast, but it's good. Now that we're good, it's band with all the stitchings. It looks nice. It looks nice. We still need to make some loops and the clasp, the T-clasp there. I made the 3D knots. They're corrected, so it looks like it's properly, well, properly. Maybe that's not that much, but generally it is tight. It's stitch. Now let's make an Alt-C because I already made copy of the file and I made copy of the original meshes. And why? I know. Sorry, I don't know why it. Because sorry, it's okay. Make the modifier apply on the mesh, obviously not on the curve. Thank you. There you go. So now the bracelet is oval. Now I'm going to move it into this direction just because I prefer this angle for the camera, but this is just because I'm already thinking, okay, let's remove the light there. The camera angle is going to be this one. I'll control the 0. Obviously we see nothing there. Let's go to the camera because the distance of it, this is almost a constant. Let's go to the clip distance. Let's put 25,000. Should be pretty 5. And let's move this, say, around there. We're going to make a rocky set. I want volcanic stone for the background with a lot of, you'll see, it's going to be a lot of fun. These bracelets generally are pretty tight, even if it's nylon and they're stitched. You can always have a look at, don't forget to look at a reference image. So I have my reference image is something like this. So they don't bend much. They have some deformations, but that's more when they're, or you can see the nylon there coming out too much. That's when they're not that perfect quality. But if you look at another bracelet, maybe this one, it's okay, you can see the nylon there, that one coming out a lot. That's a bit of fail during the manufacturing process. They're handmade, so it's always hard to have them perfectly stitched. But I think I have, okay, this reference by example, you can see this one is very high quality and the stitching is perfect. So it can be done in real life, so it can be done in 3D. If you have a look at the beads, you can see that the alignment does change from time to time. That's why I said if you want to have the maximum realism, you can use a displacement. Actually, well, let's try just, well, you should do earlier, prior to bending, you should do the displacement if you want the beads to be a bit uneven. But I very probably can do that using also the displacement on the material. So it's all right. Anyway, we can try. Let's have a look at displacement. A very slight displacement maybe. Obviously not that. Let's use a new texture. Let's put any kind of uneven texture just to see if it's still time. I don't think, because like I said, you should. So let's use maybe this one. But obviously, let's make it very. Let's go at 0.05, something very slight. Just to deform very slightly the beads. We could also make a vertex group of the beads. Let's go at 0.01. Also, I could make a crop on the... Okay, this is making... All right. But let's make the deformation on the y-axis, because I don't want it on every direction. Let's have a look with a stronger displacement there. Let's try the direction, maybe X. I don't want that direction for... Okay, I want this, so... But I want it... Let me show exactly what I want. So let's create a cube. A big cube. And let's use the cube as origin. Local object, coordinates object. And select the object, which is the cube. Because I want to make the displacement a lot bigger. So now I'm going to turn the strength back to 1, which is way too strong, but that's to see the effect of the displacement. Which is that. That's not too bad, but let's make the cube even bigger. Or try to rotate the cube, maybe 90 degrees on X. Okay, this is what I want, but very slight, and I want the cube to be bigger. So let's go at 80 for the scale of the cube. Obviously, I can move it further away on the z-axis because that's not affecting this orientation. Okay, we have this, so it's working. You should do that prior to bending and only to the beads. This is, I repeat, this is, why did I close that window? This is because, by example, if you take a reference image, when you look at the beads, you can see that the position of the beads, it is not systematically straight. So you can use well, you can do that in mesh edit, or you can do that with the displacement modifier like I'm doing now, but you can do it prior to bending and do that only to the beads. And just make like a wavy pattern. So you could also use the wave modifier. There are many ways to do that. Or now you could, and you can also do that through the material. Now I'm just showing using the, so obviously the strength, let's go at 0.1 because I just want a slight disparity on the beads over. And this is exactly what I'm getting now. So obviously it's affecting the entire geometry, but that's also great because in fact, the nylon is never also perfectly straight and flat. If you bend the nylon a bit too strong, it gets a mark. And generally when you're stitching a bracelet like this one, like a Miyuki bracelet or a peyote bracelet, you are going to get some bending marks on the nylon. So that's why I'm introducing the very simple idea. I mean, many people know this. Okay, so maybe, okay, this is interesting. So we have some uneven beads. And if I want the waves to be not that small, I can keep making the cube bigger. Let's go at 111. Why not? So my wave pattern over my displacements, yeah, this is what I want. It could even be a bit stronger. Let's go at 0.2. And, well, depends. You choose. This is pretty nice. This is pretty... No, this is too strong. Because I don't want sharp... I left the shading on the beads. I left it sharp because they're going to be made of glass, and generally I prefer the look. Okay, but this is great. So now we can hide the cube. We can hide this cube. All right, so the modeling of the bracelet and the endings are done, but we still need some loops. So let's make some small loops. Let's add a mesh circle. This time it's a mesh. Align to the view and the size. What size are you there? Ah, no, sorry. Size 3. On the inside, maybe 4. Okay, let's go to edit mode. Extrude. S. Let's make it like this. I don't want just a torus loop. I want a flat IA with bevel. Extrude this like this. And actually I want a sharp bevel. So bevel this, bevel me that, bevel me this, bevel me that. This is going to be one of our new signature phrases. Bevel me this, bevel me that. Okay, scale there. Okay, this is exactly what I want. Set origin, whatever. What did I say? Okay, set shading smooth, yes, but normal auto smooth. Material is golden brass there. All right, and this is exactly what I want. And we're going to call these loop. This is a loop. Let's make an alt C because I don't want the bevel. The bevel me this, bevel me that already worked. So now we're going to place them, let's say like one by one. You could use a, what's it called? Rigid body simulation to make the loops fall into place. But generally it's like a huge waste of time. Generally, you know that this is going to fall there. And this is the first loop there. Because it's going to be... Okay, so let's make the connection because they're like just 6 or a couple, and even it's going to fold a bit more like this, and it's already to the ground. Back view, shift 1. Okay, so shift D to make this rotate a bit like this, and now this is not, I don't really shift 1. So there's not that much technique to do this. Well, like I said, you could use a rigid body simulation, but it's not very necessary, and you would not win that much time. But just so you know, there's always another way to do this. And okay, so to all connecting now, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, the jewelry show, the jewelry show. So I need to. Damien Rohrbach. I appreciate people connecting. Welcome to the show. All right, so now save this, save that. Okay, so let's keep on. Let's put a couple of loops there, here and there, and so because the set I'm going to create today is going to be a volcanic rock set background, which is going to be funnier. This is already good enough for the amount of wires, and it can go all under the level. It won't be a problem. So let's take this, let's take that. Let's make a shift D rotation, and let's bring that one there. I don't want the same pattern on this side. Honestly, I don't want the same pattern. Obviously, is it big enough? Yeah, it's big enough. Perfect. To fit that magnificent ending. Okay. So I'm going to change this. I don't want exactly the same angles for these friends because I don't really need that. This is... Like I said, you could use the rigid body simulation to do this, but you would not win a second of your time. You would even maybe lose time. Okay, so the wires, they should touch and like think like gravity. You must think and imagine that gravity is affecting the loops and put them into position. Let's go to the camera view because that's where I want to see Do I like it? No, I don't like it. I want, so let's bring them to the front. To the front. Front, 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 front. And okay, this one, and obviously it avoid the overlaps. The rest make it look as gravity was affecting the fall of the loops and they fell there like that. It's very unpredictable. And like I already said, I say it again, you could use the rigid body simulation, but to get it exactly in this position, you would not win a second. It would be also interesting. Okay, that looks pretty good. And like I said, okay, this. Now, the clasp, okay, I'm going to make a very simple clasp, and I'm going to go for a reference on the internet so people know. T-clasp. What's a T-clasp? It's this one. Okay, so not for the teeth. We're not dentists, we're jewelers. So this one, this is a T-clasp. It's a very simple, actually it's a French invention and it's registered, but it's like not very possible to register that anymore. We could say it's more like public domain. So we're going to make that kind of clasp. So it's fairly easy. It's fairly easy. Add a, come on Blender, don't fall asleep. Let's add a cylinder. Let's put a nice amount of vertices. Let's make it the size, it's like 1. Let's rotate on the y-axis 90 degrees, and let's make it wider like this because this is a T-clasp. Woohoo! We have this. Now, make a Shift D, make it a lot less wide, and make some decorations on the endings, because generally the endings, oh well, I already closed that thing. Generally the endings of these clasps, they have something like this, and this one we are going to make it with the bevel, but we're going to make it and also make a Control A scale on this one. Perfect. I want 2 or 3 levels, and make it smooth. Woohoo! Okay, this one's going to be gold plated brass, smooth. This one also, that's the main part of the, no, sorry, this is gold plated brass. Okay, here we need normals to auto smooth. Do we? No, it doesn't look that good. Okay, right. But I want it double. Shift D, X, no, sorry. Move it there, double decoration. So make it Alt C, Control J. Now let's make it Control A, all transforms. No, not really. It doesn't matter. Mirror. Sometimes I do unnecessary things, but I generally say and talk about. Okay, so mirror. Wait a second. Okay, connection is back, I hope. Yeah, I think. YouTube told me I lost internet connection for a second. Mirror object is based on this. Okay, this guy, Control, what? Wait a second. But on the Y direction, Y, X, on the Z then. Perfect. Okay. So the mirror to that. So we have that. We have this. That. Okay. Add mesh torus. Sometimes you need to go what? Okay. Thickness of my friend the torus. These are going to be rounded. But I need this at 3.5, which is 7 decimals. It's a bit small. Yes, I need a bit bigger, but it's a bit fat. So let's undo that. I'm going to make it thinner. So let's go at 27.5. Okay, this is a pretty nice proportion. Now this is what connects the T-clasp. There, shade, smooth. And let's put it there. Okay, so this, and that. Let's go to Alt C, Control J, and this is the T-clasp on one side. Okay, Now I just need, okay, let's go to edit mode. I need to duplicate. Let's do an L, Shift D, Enter P selection, because I want a copy of this friend, because this friend is going to come, okay, let's put origin to geometry, RR to rotate this guy and put it to the chain here. That's one side. Okay, this is one side, but I'm just asking, yeah, okay, and now I'm going to put, just trying to remember, why am I doing this? Really, it's origin to geometry. Focus, people, focus. We're making a the ending of a Miyuki bracelet with a T-clasp, a golden brass T-clasp. Focus, people, focus. Okay, right, let's take this down here and let's rotate. So now this depends from the camera view. Okay, it's pretty cool because we see the T shape, but I'm going to rotate it RZ and bring it so it does not touch visually in this direction. Okay, almost. I need to bring this guy down and this guy down. This is just like that. Okay, so on that side, the T-clasp should be working with the big loop I have. This should not be, no, it's not overlapping. This one is overlapping pretty much. You can see here on the left. Focus, people, here on the left. Okay, so vertical here, Alt A. And okay, this is great. This is great. So now, technically, the modeling, the 3D modeling of this Miyuki beads bracelet is done, the entire modeling. I made the beads, which are, well, we need then to make the material, but I said the modeling is done. So the beads, there are more than 1,000 beads. More than 1,000 beads. The S go to the beads, not to the 1,000. Okay, so more than 1,000 beads. Check. Nylon stitching the bracelet, check. We have 3D knots to the metal findings, check. We have custom endings, golden brass, gold plated brass, that's the material of these guys. And we have a T-clasp. We have a T-clasp. What more do you want? Okay, so this is perfect. We made all this. So this is part 2 of this tutorial, and we bend the bracelet to a realistic size and shapes. And we even put a slight displacement over the bracelet to simulate the small real life deformations of the bracelets, because you know that the beads, they don't really perfectly align all the time. All right. Now, well, the material. So we are going to have a look at the bead material, because like I said, we have, let's go with color. We have the nylon. So the nylon base color, okay. So what I need first, let's create an environment. So now this is part, okay, the 3D modeling of the bracelet is done. Finished, finito. Listo, vale? Now we're going to make the render. Okay, the render. And it's funny because that's generally one of the favorite part of the people on my channel, the rendering of this. We're going to use cycles. I don't always use cycles. I do use, well, Eevee, I haven't used Eevee for years. Time goes by way too fast. But I use LuxCore a lot. I use Deep Image also, which is part of the 3D design software package for professional jewelers. And I use a lot cycles. Obviously, we're going to use cycles today, but that's not so obvious. So anyway, let's go to environment. So I'm going to bring one of my favorites. So people who buy my assets or members, they get my textures and all of that. That's why it's cool to be a member of my channel. You should subscribe as member. Okay, it's not free, but basically you're buying 3D assets, and they're really cool. All right. Now let's go to shading. Let's go to shading. Obviously, let's go to render preview. So the scene is not optimized yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to optimize the bracelet for rendering. First, this is a very important job. So let's go File, Save As, Render, Rendering. I almost always save when I'm done with the modeling. I'm done with the modeling. Well, welcome. You're welcome. You are welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so I always save a file. When I'm done with modeling, I keep that file untouched because it's not optimized for, it's optimized for the non-destructive part of the modeling of that asset or bracelet or jewel or whatever I'm doing. So then I save a file for the rendering. I would say that obviously because, by example, this bracelet has a displacement and all of that. You should get rid of all the modifiers. It's the first step in optimizing things for rendering. So make an Alt-C. But obviously when it's applied, if I wanted to change my modifier, it's too late. So that's why you save your rendering file apart. Now we need to make a decimate because we don't need that many. Okay, here we are almost at 4.5 million faces. Face count 4.5 million. That's very normal. That's very normal. After modeling almost anything, you're gonna have millions of faces, but you don't need that many faces. Generally depends on the distance. Well, actually, it's true. I'm going to make it's not that much of a close-up. This is like a general view of the bracelet, and that's great. That's good enough. All right, but if I want a close-up shot, then I'm going to keep all the face count to a very high level, and the rendering times are going to be slower and all that. But if your computer is made for designing, you have many video cards. Well, I'd say you should have at least 2 when you're making renders, or one very powerful like 380 or 390 video card, at least one, or several 1080 or several 2080. Okay, so optimizing. Yes, well, depends. If you want quality, don't decimate your object. If you want to win some minutes, because you are going to win minutes, but maybe if your computer is like not so powerful, if you have 4 million vertices, you should really decimate that to something under 1 million. You should go to something like 500,000, or if you can, 200,000. Obviously, the more you decimate, the more you destroy your geometry. Obviously, the decimate modifier is friendly with the geometry, but because that's why they were developed. They were developed to remove unnecessary geometry without affecting the shape of your geometry. So mathematics are at work to make your geometry a lot lighter without changing the shape. But obviously it does remove faces. So if you set the factor, this is ratio 1, which is 100%. If you put it at 0.1, it's going to be 10% of the amount that you want. Let's say you have 4.5 million. If you put 0.1, you're gonna start to target 450,000 faces, which is 10 times less. Okay, that's just the way it works. But anyway, I want a very high quality render. So anyway, I'm not going to decimate in this occasion, because while I was talking, because this is improvisation. Well, I know what I want to do, but I did not train to make this what I'm doing now. But anyway, I love Blender. I use Blender all the time. So it seems that I'm fully prepared to do what I'm doing. Just that. I love using Blender. And okay. So we are going to go to the shading. I'm done talking about optimizing. This is very simple to optimize. You just do a decimate on your mesh and you're done. Okay, so we have three materials. We need the gold-plated, gold-plated. So here we're going to input an ambient occlusion on the base color. It's going to be distance something like 10, depends the size of your object, and let's put a golden color. Something like this should be pretty good. All right, and okay, this is what we get with these guys. Metallic 1, specular 1, roughness 0. This is fully metallic. Okay, we are going to put a small, okay, the samples, I love to go higher than 20. Distance 20, okay, it's pretty good. Let's add a bevel on the normal to smooth out the edges. Also samples at 16, and this should be maybe at 0.1. Depends the size of your object. Okay, let's make a zoom on it. Why is my friend not zooming in? Ah, because nobody's selected. Thank you. Okay, so we are here. Now we need, you can use an image. Then I do some scratches with a texture image. Come on. No, but don't put it there. Suddenly it appears out of nowhere. Okay, let's remove the rendering preview. It's a bit too slow here. Obviously at 4 millions, and disconnect that. That connection is just fun, but doesn't go there. I don't know, it just snapped there automatically. Okay, it goes to, put it to normal, but go to bump, add a bump node right here. It goes on height because I'm not going to use a normal map. I almost never use normal maps. I still use images, like normal images. Scratches, something like, well, something like this, because also I'm going to connect that to, anyway, let's connect, okay, let's see preview here. Obviously one should be, it's going to be way too strong for the bump. Way too strong. Almost sure. Okay, it is. But it's not too bad, it's not too bad. Let's go to back view and let's zoom to that. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Okay, so it's way too strong and way too, okay, first let's go at box, blend it at 1, and let's add an input texture coordinates generated UV, because I'm not even making UVs on these type of but you know what? I know, but for this material, it's going to be perfect. All right, so it's still, okay, the proportion is a bit nicer, but I don't want it to be that small. So let's go to vector mapping, goes right there. Scale should be, well, maybe 0.5. I want some bumps, but like just wavy like this. Obviously not that strong. Let's go at 0.2. And let's go at 0.05, something very slight, but give me a second. The orientation is a bit weird. Let's make a rotation, like 45 degrees and 45 degrees. No, this one, no. On Z-axis, it's great. Let's try it on the X-axis. Oh, it's pretty good. Let's have a look at the rest of, it's just for the gold-plated brass. Okay, so I have some weird lines, maybe just one rotation. And it's because of the size, but anyway, on the Z-axis, maybe even 1. Let's go maybe at 0.5. No, this one is the one that I don't want to be that much expanded. Okay, this is pretty good, but Okay, so let's try 0.3 there. So I don't have that many pixelation. Huh. Obviously I'm using an image, so you can expect some pixels on the bump. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at huh. Yeah, it's way too strong anyway. Let's go at 0.2, but it's still pixelating too much. So I'm going to have a look at a procedural bump. The very basic one is the Musgrave here, 8, let's go there, and let's go at 1, and I need to connect the same nodes of texturing here, of the mapping. Let's do a Shift D. Come on, guys. Are you moving with me? I said Shift D, you can copy the nodes. Everything you do with the shortcuts, you can do that to everything in Blender with the same shortcuts, almost everywhere. So Shift D duplicate things in the VSE, on the compositor, on the nodes, wherever you do, whatever you do. Okay, so that's the size, but let's go at 10. Let's go at 20, detail at 20. Let's put the strength at 5. Okay, it's way too big still. Let's go at 200 then. Okay, so let's go strength at 0.1 now. Okay, this is what I wanted. Just some wavy. Yeah, but it's still too big. I want it smaller in this occasion. Let's go at this, and not that strong. I just want a very slight bump on the metal. Well, it's too small now. Let's go at 200. All right, it's pretty good. Okay, but I'm going to use the image I was using for an effect on the roughness map, I guess, or maybe on the metallic, or also maybe on the color. Well, that depends. Let me load. Let's remove. No, let's go directly to the roughness node with the image I loaded earlier, and I think it's already making the effect I wanted on the roughness map. So it doesn't look polished all over the place, which is very accurate for a gold-plated brass metal, okay? But what I love doing here, let's make this at 0.3, let's make this 0.1. 0.2 is pretty good. So you can start seeing that some parts are not that polished, but the contrast is not good enough. So we go to color, brightness, contrast here. And let's start making crazy number. Let's go at contrast like 2. And this is what I want, just small stains here and there of like water stains, unpolished parts, and putting an image like this one is quite great. Now here what I see is that the Musgrave scale, it's too big. Let's go 200. I don't want that many ripples. Let's go at 50. And not that much. Let's go at half that. Even a 1. Because I want it to be really slight and not that systematic. For that, the Musgrave texture is not the best, because the Musgrave is quite much systematic. Okay, but this is perfect. Now this is perfect for this. Maybe the color is a bit too light, but depends the side of the view. Okay, perfect. Now the next material, the nylon. So the nylon, I like a nice blue, light blue, like this. But this is going to be a nylon. So the only thing I need to change, I need to make it not that rough because it's plastic. Let's go very low here. Let's make it a bit metallic so it reflects a bit, and we need some transmission. Let's go maybe at 0.8, and this is already great. Let's make the specular tint at 0.7, and the specularity is pretty high because it's a plastic. Let's go at 1. Okay, so the nylon is already ready. This is thanks to the transmission on the principal shader, right? And there are many colors of nylons for stitching these kinds of bracelets. And I want a blue nylon because that's the color I like. If you've seen and remember the my first publication, this is a Miyuki bracelet I made for testing. You can see that I made a very similar nylon, but the stitching was different. Today I made a crossed stitching, which is maybe not realistic, like I already said, but it's better looking. Okay, so now comes the most awaited moment. How do you make the pattern for all the beads? Because you have 1,000 beads and you want some patterns of colors. So we're gonna talk about that. But first, let's just make the bead glass. Let's say you don't want any pattern. So let's make a what? Red, pink. Let's make pink. Pink. Let's have a look at pink, but like a nice reddish pink here. Okay, let's say I want some pink. So it's glass also. So the IOR is already close to that. You can have some glass at 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, depends the glass. I'm going to leave it to 1.45. It might be lower, it might be a bit higher. And depends also the environment you're using and all of that, all right? So I'm just going to put some transmission. Let's go at 0.8. So it depends a lot on the type of Miyuki beads that you're using. This one's looking pretty nice. I am going to add, I think, a bevel on the edges. So the bevel nice is very nice, but remember it makes the rendering slower, especially if you put like 20, well, let's go at 16, but with that amount of samples, and let's go maybe at 0.2, 0.1, because they're quite polished beads. Okay, now roughness is more like at 0.1 or even 0, and it all depends on what type. This type of beads there, these are the metallic Miyuki beads. So we can make them metallic if we want. Let's go at 0.2 on the roughness. Metallic at 0.8 maybe, depends. And you can see that the look changes a lot. This is already close to what I had, well, what I did in my first render, okay? But, okay, so this is great. This is very easy. You just have one color on your material and you have metallic beads and that's it. No problem at all, okay? It's very easy. But I want. Well, we are anyway first going to, no, okay, let's go directly to the problem. So there's a way that I use. I'm going to show you an image and you're going to understand. This is an image with the colors. And this I made that one using Corel. So you could do that in Blender using planes and cubes and colors, but I use Corel a lot. You can use any vector software, all right? You could use any vector software. So for a second, let's go and remove the viewport preview here. So we are going to make squares. Let's make some squares. 3 by 3, and let's put a color for this guy. Let's make like any color, maybe this. Remove the edges. You don't want any edges. Okay, so now the bracelet here, front view, remember that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 11 rows. These are 11 rows. I don't remember how many columns we have. So I need to go back to where I have the arrays of the beads. Well, anyway. So take the beads and let's have, I have some hundreds and how many? Okay, we have 120 columns. So let's go back to Corel. Let's go back to the file of the rendering. Don't save this one. Okay, so we need 11, copy paste. We need 11. So just for viewing concerns, I'm going to keep the edges of these squares visible. All right. So we're going to make 11 rows. We need 11 squares. Let's take the node and we're going to create, how many do I have now? Need to count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 3 more. Copy, paste. But yeah, just do a very precise placement, please. Node to node. Okay, right. So we have 11 and save this. Let's save this here. All right, so pattern. This is a pattern. This is a vector pattern. You could do that in Blender and make a render of the entire color pattern, but it's slower. So now I need 120, and believe me, this is going to be one of the fastest way, believe it or not. CV. Obviously, you could use a nodes also in the shading, but you won't have that much control. I want a lot of control over the pattern and to be able to do it in a timely fashion. Okay, we have 8 per 2. It's going to be, I have 16, so let's go at 20. Okay, now I have 20 columns. I need 120. So this is 20, copy paste. This is 40. Just grab, I need to grab the perfect node of the corner. And I'll rotate it, move it. Grab node to node. We have 40. So it's just this. Now we have 80. And just copy it once more. And you have the entire pattern of the bracelet, which is 11 rows per 120 columns. Yes. So now we need to choose the pattern, because here I'm going to put the colors, and this one, well, the size, I'm going to make it a lot smaller because it's not size related. And let's see here, I can directly know the center of the, okay, the centers, these are the center of, okay, so the center is here. And because I have an even number of, remember, I have an even number of beads, there's no middle bead. There are just 120 columns. So, so my pattern won't have a center bead. But anyway, let's start making the pattern in any way you want. And this is where you're going to decide the colors. So by example, this time I'm going to make something different. We can do, okay, so let's start selecting. I'm going to make maybe a V. This is like pixel art now. It's going to be like pixel art. I don't know, because look at bracelets. You have patterns like this one. You have more complex. This pattern is more complex. It's more interesting. you have centered. This one is centered, but I can't make a centered one like this one because I don't have a center bead. I can make a center though. We have V patterns like this one. So I won't make, well, no, yes, I am going to make a nice pattern. So let's start. The center beads are here. So let's start. Okay, white, gold and white, purple and gold. White, purple and gold. Because I must decide the pattern, the colors too. I can tweak them later, but not that much. What colors should we do today? I think white. I'm going to use white, that same purple, and gold. So let's have a try. Okay, I have this. Let's try to wait. Okay, this one I can center. This is not too bad. Okay, so gold. Let's put any kind of double click there. Let's go to the palette. Let's go here. I want some golden. Okay, this is great. Okay, so making some pixel art here today to make the beads, the color of the beads, the pattern. And I was explaining because it's not that easy. It's not that easy. You very probably could use the nodes. There's almost always a way to make things using nodes in Blender nowadays, but you would not have that very precise control that I'm going to get. And also you need to understand here, I just need to make 1/2. You're gonna see because, well, depends. I'm going to make a symmetrical pattern, and if I do the right side, then I can just copy the right side to the left side and whatsoever, and we are going to get, okay, the thing is, should I use maybe pink? Yeah, I think I'm going to also use pink. Yeah, I'm going to use pink in this design. So let's make this. Okay, so I'm already happy because it's already working. And the thing now is, well, let's complete the pattern. And in fact, is not that time consuming. It's not that hard to do. It takes a bit of time because we do have some thousands, hundreds of multiplications here and there. But in any vector software, you can use Illustrator, Corel, or Inkscape, which is free. You can do that in Inkscape. You could do that using GIMP, but obviously using a bitmap software, it's a bit harder to create this image. Okay, now we're going to change a bit the pattern, obviously, because this is too boring. What? Who's selecting what there? No, I don't want this. I just want to make a triangle there. Let's make a white triangle there. Yeah, this is going to be nice. Ah, but this is grouped. Let's make a non-group. I never grouped this. Who grouped this? I didn't. Okay, here, are we going to put some pink there? Yep. So I could obviously even copy from the top, but I don't want to overlap any triangle. So I like to develop things step by step. You already know that. That's why generally I have a lot of success because I do it step by step. I don't pretend that I can win that much time, you know, using tricks. Just find a clever way to do things and do it. It's going to take some time, but it's the time you need to do that. Okay, so the pattern is starting to look pretty interesting. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some pink right here. But I only need, if, like now, my pattern is going to be symmetrical. So I can only do the right side and I'm done. You could do just a quarter, the top right quarter of this design and also copy the each side. But I prefer to have a look at the development of my pattern step by step, because it's quite enjoyable. Like this one, I got this one wrong, it doesn't matter, I just can correct it. Click, 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 and it moves forward pretty fast. Okay, there we have that. Now we might change. Okay, let's try to make some type of cluster. Okay, this is going to be a white. Hey, that's nice. But let me find, okay, I need this one and this one too. This is pretty nice. This is really nice. And it goes, well, we're almost there. Honestly, we're almost there. Okay, let me have a look. Okay, I know that I'm going to copy that, but this is just for symmetry reason and have a good reading of the pattern. There we go. Here we go. So we have this side, that side. Let's make like an arrow shape, the gold arrow shape here. Yeah. Take this home. Bevel me this, bevel me that. Color me this, color me that. Okay, shape, arrow shape, but I need to start too. I need to start here. No, that's too close. That's too close. I need to start here then. Pink. Let's make a pink arrow here. And let's go here. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, so let's have a look. I don't know if it's going to work now, or if it works yet. I'm looking pretty interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to make another triangular pattern right here. You know, each square is your friend for coloring the pattern. What are we going to get here? White. Let's put some white here. Yoo-hoo! It's okay. It's starting to work pretty well. So today my time is, well, I still have, well, I'm not done yet. Let's complete this. I won't complete the entire set. I'll do that some other day. But the pattern, and you're going to see that when we bring that image to the beads, we're going to get that pattern for all the beads. And it's going to be amazing. Come on, what do you want here? White. Let's make a white arrow because there was no white arrow so far, and it's going to be nice to have a white arrow here. Okay, we have this. What else are we gonna get? Here I'm still thinking if I'm going to... No, this is quite great. So white arrow, I know we do have, this is a pretty nice answer to that. So what else do you want? Okay, I know what I want. I want some of these guys, but I want it, let's make it pink. Yeah, I think let's make it pink. Let's make it pink like this, one of these diamonds, because in English this shape is called a diamond. Well, or a rotated square, but it's nicer to say diamond, obviously. Okay, here gold or white. Let's go for gold. And this, okay, this is going, okay, great. Let's keep doing this step by step. So it's not even boring because you need to decide. This part of the process, in fact, is very creative because you need to focus a lot on the color, harmony, and finding an interesting pattern is not that easy. And remember, this is a live session. I'm just inventing this as we go, as we speak. And that's why I'm doing this, because that's what I do every day, jewelry design. And okay, here we're gonna get gold also, gold corners there, gold, 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 and this is completing the pattern, I guess. Well, we could get some pink. No, we do have some pink there. Okay, so actually one side is done, so I can erase totally one other side. Boom, there you go. Take this side, copy, paste, mirror, and bring the other half. So this completes 1,000. This has more than 1,000. Let's remember. Let's go to calculator. Okay, so we have 11 rows multiplied by 120 columns. That's 1,320 beads. So here we have 1,320 squares. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Obviously, now I'm going to select everybody. I'm going to remove the edges like this, so there's no well, you could use them. Sometimes I leave them because it makes like a nice it makes a nice edge effect on the beads. You could use that, but anyway, now I need to export this. I'm going to export this as a PNG. Export, and let's go to here. Okay, so this is going to be the pattern. So this is live beads pattern 1. And here we are going to export this at a quite high, wait, I'm going to export it, but I'm seeing something I don't like. Okay, let's go at a, because it's very wide. Look, we almost have 12,000 pixels for the width, but the height is just 1,000 pixels. And I need, I don't know, let's go at 2,500. But maybe it's going to be way too wide. Now this is crazy. Let's go at 1,500. Because the image might become quite heavy for a PNG. Okay, here there's something I don't like. I was wrong here, I think. I want this to be pink. And I want this to be, okay, like this, because, and do that, I need to do that on the same side because there's one row too much of purple. I want some symmetry here. So sometimes there I saw the mistake while exporting. So save and export again. The image is this one. Yes, overwrite. So the height at 1,500. Let's go the exportation again. Let's go have a look at how fat is that image. No, it's not even, it's nothing. It's like 96Ks. I thought it was going to be way heavier. Anyway, now let's go back to Blender. So that was very easy to do. That's the entire pattern. So we just need to bring the image texture and the color. Open. So let's bring the live. This is the pattern I just created now. Yep. And the input should be the UV map because it is the UV map. So sometimes you can use UV map or you can use the texture coordinates here, UV. And because remember, I did the UV for the beads hours ago. But it should work. It should work quite well. Let's have a look. And normally it should be the flat projection. Let's have a look. Let's have a look if the pattern goes well with the UV. So it's loading the image. Obviously it's going to be a bit slow because remember, okay. Some round of applause for the jewelry artist. You're welcome. This is an example here. This is just an example here. That's it's a way to making the color patterns for more than 1,000 beads, and I think it's one of the most efficient ways. You have a lot of control. If I want to change, okay, now maybe I don't like the color. Obviously, I'm going to remove the metallic. Let's go, because I don't want metallic patterns this time. I want more plastic beads. Obviously, I don't like the saturation. I don't like, I love the pattern. I love the pattern, but I don't like the saturation. But I don't know yet because, like I said, I want a volcanic rock background. So the colors I won't be, well, I can have a, I'm going to just play around a bit with the colors. Let's have a look at what we get. So first I want a 0.5. Okay, this is horrendous. I don't like that one. 0.8. Maybe the original is the best. Generally the original is the best, obviously. The rest is going to be all the same. Yeah, the original is the best. But not that saturated. And I can make it lighter if I want. Let's go with the brightness and contrast too on the color here. And also maybe the ambient occlusion might help to level the brightness and the saturation. Let's go distance 10, 24. Obviously, maybe then I want them brighter. And let's go back to saturation here. So with the AO, it looks more leveled. Without the AO, there's a lot of saturation on the beads because there's a lot of light without the ambient occlusion. And this would be just a starting point. But this is what I wanted to achieve today. Yeah, we achieved it. Because today I finished making the stitching of the bracelet. I finished bending the bracelet. I made the T-clasp loops and clasps right there. And I made the materials. And above all, the fantastic trick here was how do you make the bead patterns, the colors. And I showed a very nice trick to do that using a vector software. So this is a starting point for all the rest of the work. Then you do whatever you want. I mean, obviously, the very simple layout would be just obviously a plane for the floor. Just to finish with something there. And obviously I need to rotate it a bit here because it must touch the, you can rotate the bracelet, but you can also rotate the floor. And the problem is that I made an uneven, remember that my loops, they're falling under the floor level, like now, like this, because I'm going to make a scene with volcanic rocks and I won't have an even floor. So the loops, the metal is resting on the rocks, not just on a flat floor like now. But it's just to have a look at the bracelets with a floor. And this way I'm going to end the... Okay, obviously we don't have enough light, and also the light is coming from the back. And but the goal, today's goal, was to finish the materials, finish the modeling. It looks great. So now you know to make the pattern, go to any vector software. There you can make the patterns very easily. In fact, just import the image. Obviously, then you can also add some roughness on the beads, make them metallic beads, make them glass beads, make them plastic beads, whatever type of bead, just make the material. And that's it. So that's all for today. Thanks for joining. It was like, how long was I streaming today? I don't even know. 2 hours. That was great. They went by very, very fast. So I was, as always, very happy to make, well, it was a tutorial. That's the second part of the Miyuki bracelets. This ends the videos about the Miyuki beads bracelets using 3D, using Blender this time. So we made absolutely the entire modeling, and I also showed a very important trick and a very nice trick too. So I hope you'll show your appreciation. Obviously, you can subscribe to the channel, you can become members. the most advanced level members get the 3D scenes with materials and all the 3D model. So that's pretty nice. Anyway, brilliant and beloved jewelry community, blessed jewelry community. My name is Damien Rohrbach. Any 3D modeling you need, just write me by, you can use Instagram. Many people use Instagram to request 3D models, or you can use the email also, or Facebook. Also, you can very easily find me on Facebook and Instagram to request any, well, obviously paid. If you want a custom model, 3D model, I do a lot of jewelry modeling, but I also do a lot of animal modeling and a lot of assets. And anyway, it was a pleasure to have you here today. Thanks for your support messages, and thanks to make the channel grow. I'm very happy. And like I was explaining at the beginning, I started making videos years ago when I was teaching. I had my own jewelry school, and when I was at school, and well, because sometimes during teaching I had a lot of spare time. So I started making videos, but now because of the pandemic, my work has changed a lot. The jewelry school does not exist anymore. I work at home. I do a lot of 3D modeling. I am a jeweler. I make a lot of gold jewels and silver jewels, but mainly I make 3D models for international clients. That's my main income. And it's ironic because now the channel is trending more, it's growing at a nice pace, but I don't have that time left to make videos, which is the big irony of life. This is even a bit stupid. I didn't say that. No, it is it's well, it's funny. Let's say it's funny. It's a bit funny. It's the irony of life. When I started the channel, I had a lot of spare time because I was spending a lot of time at my school, and making tutorial was just an extra way to make, well, for me it was a lot of fun because I was able to show and explain a lot of things. Now the school does not exist anymore. The pandemic changed the world, and I could make really a lot of incomes making a full 3D course using Blender for jewelry modeling. I am going to do that. Because yes, I'm going to make that. And also a jewelry course for jewelry rendering using Blender. Yes, I'm going to do that. Many people have asked me if I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm working on that. But because my work is 3D modeling now, that's my main income, it's 3D modeling. And but yeah, I am already a YouTuber. The channel is has reached a level. Well, I'm starting to make a little money with YouTube, just like a little money, but it's already money. So it's nice, but I must be able to do at least one video a week. And like I said, it's very funny. The irony there is that when I started the channel years ago, I had a lot of time to do it, but the channel was not growing and had not that much interest at an international level. Now the channel is growing pretty fast. It has a nice international level interest, projection, and attractive for many people because I speak about many things, I show many things, I teach many things. So people are very happy of what they're learning with my channel and with me, but I don't have the time anymore. That's how life works. That's the funny. It's funny that it's the funny side of life. So anyway, here we are. I'm going to try honestly to make well, I want to make it work because that's why I said it's a bit stupid. Because time, and not because time is money, but also because the energy I have, I need to focus my energy into what works, and the channel is working because people are asking, like this Miyuki bracelet, the Miyuki beads idea came from one of my subscribers. It was a request a couple of weeks ago, and it was obviously and it is a very interesting request. That's why I said I'm gonna do that. It's very interesting. So my subscribers are giving me very interesting ideas. Sometimes, well, not even challenges anymore, because in fact there's nothing more to challenge me about. But anyway, so it was a very nice idea. So I said, let's do that. But it took me weeks to make 2 videos, and that's not exactly the way it should be to the channel to really become like trending, to really grow, like to be an important channel. But if I'm going to do that, well, I'm going to do that, and well, I'm doing it because we've come so far. And for many of you, for many followers and subscribers, it's just the beginning. This is like, I'm just getting started, because like I said, the channel is, yeah, it's getting attention now. I know that YouTube and Google are checking channels that are growing, and I know because I get emails from YouTube that I'm pretty well placed, because when you search about jewelry design on YouTube, my videos come out quite often, quite easily, and are gathering more interest each time. And it's time now to really do that as a YouTuber, you know, to really, that's why I started. The nice thing, the big difference, and that's why I'm making tutorials through the live streams, is that started last year, I'm able to make live streams, and the live streams are working very well. And now, because I'm saving the live streams, I can post them as normal tutorials. So people who did not follow the live stream, they can see the full tutorial as a normal video on my channel. So that formula is, well, that's where success is for me now. I know, because I could do it as a live stream when I have a free time, when I have the energy to do it. And thanks to God, because I'm training a lot. I don't go to the gym anymore, but I can train at home very well. I started really training again. So I have a lot more of energy to do things again. The passion is back, because the concept is, every day I have a clearer concept on what's, well, I had a jewelry school for 17 years. I must basically reinvent my life, my income, my community all over again. And every day I'm finding new ways to do that. And yeah, it's also thanks to you, to my followers and subscribers, because they write me very nice messages, support messages, and ideas. So see, it's working for all of us. So we are going to keep doing this. All right, we are going to keep the same energy, the same trending energy, the same concept, the same ideas, and we're going to be here for quite a long time, I guess, some years to come. So after all these pretty words and ideas and concept of what's going on and the funny irony of life, thanks for watching, and thanks for everything. And well, let's say we're just getting started, even if I started years ago. But obviously, like the new normality, you know, that huge concept for many people. Well, it's like, this is like my new normality now. So let's be a YouTuber. Let's make the channel trending. Let's make a lot of live sessions, and this is going to work great, and you are going to learn. You're going to learn a lot, and I will be able to keep making new videos, because I make tutorials, but some people are already also liking a lot the 3D animations I'm doing. and I'm going to keep making the same efforts. So thanks for all your comments. The hair curl is just this one. my hairstyle is just totally improvised. Well, like the new normality is going to work for me, because now I can make a lot of 3D models. I get paid pretty well. I make some jewels from time to time, and I can make the live streams each week. And I think it's a lot of fun. It's very interesting. It's very encouraging. You're gonna learn a lot of ways and concepts and ideas to make 3D jewelry. I'm going to keep making things with Blender, obviously, but I also love to use 3D design. 3D design is very important, so I'm going to alternate between softwares and ideas. Okay, so thanks again, and see you soon. Take care.